Hello everyone and welcome back. For anybody who is new to my channel, my name is Dominica and I'm a nurse and a functional health coach who battled her own issues with hypothyroidism and Hashimoto's and actually got myself into remission. Now, I know a lot of women come on here to learn and to understand their bodies, so today I want to connect quite a lot of dots for you. If you struggle with bloating, mood swings, weight gain, fatigue and brain fog, yes, it's hormonal definitely, but there are two external factors that also have an effect on these symptoms. Your hormones don't just randomly become imbalanced. They actually respond to your environment, so the things that you put in your body, the things that you eat and the things that you drink. So alcohol and sugar both directly impact your gut, your liver, your stress, your insulin sensitivity. And why that's important is because they are all super important for your hormone health. Right, so let's start with alcohol because this is massively underestimated and we all have a drink, and I'm not sitting here saying that I don't drink, I do, but I want to give you a little bit more insight. When you drink alcohol, your body treats it like it's a toxin. So your liver prioritizes breaking that down over everything else. And your liver is responsible for other things such as detoxing excess estrogen, regulating your hormones and supporting your metabolism. So what happens if you don't excrete estrogen properly? You get a build up of estrogen within the body, which is called estrogen dominance, which will look like more bloating, more irregular periods, heavier bleeds, etc. And you know that little pouch that you complain about in your lower belly? That is also a sign of excess estrogen. So fat loss becomes a little bit harder. And on top of that, obviously alcohol spikes your cortisol, which is your stress hormone, disrupts your sleep, even if you think that you are having a decent night's sleep, because we all know when we've had a drink, sleep is never good quality. It's not deep. Your heart rate's really, really high. Your body's working overtime and you do not feel rested at all. And then obviously alcohol affects our blood sugars as well. So the next day when you wake up, you are absolutely starving and you want to eat all the junk food, and that's because your blood sugars are irregular, not stable. So as a whole, alcohol has a huge effect on your recovery, on the decisions that you will effectively make the next day. But as I say, I'm not saying don't drink, because I do sometimes, but just make sure you are not binge drinking all the time and you're choosing the right things and hydrating and eating food around alcohol as well. So moving on to sugar. And I'm not talking about obvious sugar, I'm talking about the processed foods, the endless snacking, refined carbs, the cakes, the crisps, etc. Because every time you eat something with sugar, not sugar directly itself, and you're not spooning it there, your blood sugars spike. And then what your body does is releases insulin to bring it back down. But when this happens constantly, you then become more insulin resistant, you do tend to store more fat, you get more energy crashes, more cravings, and yes, your hormones become imbalanced. So now I'm going to link all this for you to female hormones, because high insulin equals higher androgens, which is the male hormone. Now, as females, yes, we do have the male hormone like testosterone, but we have it in smaller amounts in comparison to a male, because obviously we are females, right? But if you have higher levels of insulin, you will have higher androgens, which then leads to things like acne, irregular periods, PCOS, and difficulty losing fat. So now let's combine the two together, because alcohol and sugar are a lovely combination that we love, especially when we're hungover, but we need to combine them two together, because when we put those side by side, hand in hand, they are not a great combo for our hormones. Most people combine alcohol and sugar at the weekends, and that's just going to cause inflammation, overload your liver, and cause blood sugar chaos. And this is where most people are wondering, like, why am I so puffy? Why do I feel so tired? Why am I so inflamed? For days and days on end afterwards. It's not just the next day, it's usually a couple of days after. And as we age, it tends to affect us for longer as well. So it takes you a good 3-4 days to recover, and you're swollen and you feel horrible, your clothes don't fit well, you look in the mirror, you're like, who is this? And I'm not saying you can never drink alcohol again or have sugar again, but you need to prioritize it. So if your goal is to lose body fat, balance your hormones or better your energy, you really need to adapt this. You can't keep ignoring it, because it does have an impact on your body. As much as you want it to put it to the back of your head, it does have a huge impact. So I'm about to give you a few tips of what you can do instead to help. First of all, prioritize protein before you go out drinking. Do not drink on an empty stomach. So if you know you are going out, make sure to have a nice meal full of protein, fats and carbs. Limit the frequency and not just the quantity. So if you know you have loads of social events coming up, pick your poison, pick your battles wisely, okay? You don't need to drink 3-4 times a week at every social occasion. Save it to 1 day a week and go and socialise. If you can't socialise without alcohol, there is something wrong, and that's not a dig, it's a reality check. And don't just cut out processed food, just reduce your daily intake, and this will definitely help longer term in how you are feeling, because all of this is about controlling and having the knowledge and not just restricting and cutting everything that you have out, because life wouldn't be as fun then. So if you feel like your hormones are all over the place and you feel like you're doing everything right, question yourself, are you actually? Because it might be these small little things that you do day to day, or the drinking, that you don't realise have an effect. Once you go sober for a few weeks, a few months, and you stay away from the sugars, you realise how good you actually feel, so that when you do go back to alcohol and sugar, you feel awful. I know myself, because I don't really have sugar because I can't have gluten and dairy. Now when I have something sugary, I'm like, whoa, I feel hungover. I get a food hangover, and that is a thing as well. And combine that with alcohol, awful. I don't want to feel like that. I appreciate feeling good and healthy and fresh every single morning. And once you get that taste of feeling good, you never want to go back there. I hope that was useful. Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe for weekly educational videos and weekly vlogs and just life in general, so you get to see a bit of me and who I am as a person. And if you haven't already, follow me on Instagram at definedbydom. Visit my website, definedbydom.com. On there, you will have all the information that you need if you want any support. And have a lovely day.